She never expected that one small act of kindness would echo through the years. That rainy night, as the storm poured down from the heavens and the wind howled like distant memories, Martha Jenkins saw a shadow outside her porch, tall, drenched, and trembling. She offered a hand, a warm towel, and a smile. She never imagined that years later, a knock on her door would bring her to tears and change everything she thought she knew about fate, love, and the power of kindness. Martha Jenkins had lived her entire life in the small, weather-worn town of Millbrook. A simple woman in her mid-60s, she lived alone in a modest farmhouse on the outskirts of town. Her days were quiet, marked by routine, tea at sunrise, gardening in the afternoon, knitting by the fireplace in the evening. She'd lost her husband, George, nearly 15 years ago to cancer. They hadn't been blessed with children, and though the house was often still and silent, Martha found peace in the quietness of it all. She wasn't rich, nor influential. But Martha had something most people overlooked. She had a heart as open as the sky and a soul that never hesitated to offer kindness. That night, the storm had rolled in fierce and fast. Rain slammed against the windows like fists of water, and thunder rattled the floorboards beneath her feet. Martha, curled under a crocheted blanket, was sipping chamomile tea when she heard a loud knock on the door. It startled her. Not many came visiting, especially not during weather like this. Cautiously, she approached the door and opened it just a crack. Standing there was a young man, maybe 22, soaked to the bone. His military uniform clung to him like a second skin, and he shivered violently. "I'm sorry, ma'am," he stammered. "My car broke down. I was trying to get to the base before morning. Can I use your phone?" Without hesitation, Martha flung the door open wider. "You'll catch your death out there. Come inside. I'll get you a towel and something warm." The soldier hesitated, clearly unsure, then stepped inside. Martha could see the exhaustion etched in his face, the kind that ran deeper than physical tiredness. She fetched him a towel and made some hot soup. As he ate, she sat across from him, watching the steam curl up between them. "What's your name, son?" "Private Daniel Reeves, ma'am." "You can call me Martha." He nodded politely. "Thank you for letting me in." "You didn't have to." Martha smiled softly. "I always have room for someone in need." As the hours passed, the storm worsened. Martha insisted he stay the night. She gave him a warm blanket, some dry clothes from George's old drawer, and set him up on the couch. In the morning, the rain had stopped. Daniel thanked her repeatedly before heading out, promising to return one day to repay her kindness. Martha thought little of it at the time. Life moved on. But days turned into weeks, then months, and soon 2 years had passed. Every so often, Martha would think of the young soldier, where he might be, if he was safe, if he remembered her at all. Then, one quiet afternoon in late spring, she heard it, a knock on the door. When she opened it, she gasped. It wasn't Daniel. It was a woman, a young woman with tear-streaked eyes, holding the hand of a small boy no older than 5. "Are you Martha Jenkins?" the woman asked. "I am." The woman looked down, took a breath, then handed Martha a letter. "It's from Daniel Reeves. He was my husband." Martha's heart sank. "Was?" She opened the letter with trembling hands. "Dear Martha, if you're reading this, it means I didn't make it home. I was deployed overseas a few months after the night I stayed at your house. You may not realize it, but that night saved my life. I was at my lowest. Lost, unsure if I had anything to live for. But your kindness reminded me that there's good in the world. That people still care. That even strangers can be family for a moment." I met Emily shortly after that. She was a nurse at the base. We fell in love fast, maybe because life felt short. We had a son, Matthew. If I don't return, I've asked Emily to bring him to you, so he can know the kind of kindness that changed his father's life. Please, if you're willing, be a part of their lives. Tell Matthew about the good in the world. Teach him what you taught me. With all my heart. Daniel. Martha's eyes blurred with tears as she looked down at the little boy standing beside his mother. His eyes, bright blue, reminded her of George. Or maybe Daniel. Or maybe just hope. That day changed everything. Emily and Matthew stayed the night. Then another. Eventually, they stayed for good. What had once been a quiet farmhouse full of silence became a home again. The laughter of a child echoed through the halls. Emily found a job in town, and Martha became the grandmother she'd never dreamed she could be. There were moments of sorrow. Daniel's absence hung heavy sometimes. But it was softened by the memories he left behind and the family he'd created. And every time the rain fell, Martha would sit by the window with Matthew in her lap, telling him the story of a rainy night, a soldier on her porch, and how a simple act of kindness can echo across time and transform lives. Ending message for video voiceover. We often underestimate the power of a simple act, a warm meal, a kind word, a place to rest. But kindness, even in its smallest form, ripples through time, shaping destinies and healing hearts. Martha didn't have much. But what she gave changed everything. You never know who's on the other side of the door. And you never know how far your kindness might reach. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people again.